Greetings, guide bushing gurus and greenhorns. I'm Scott with GenSwiss.
Hi, I'm Bill Fletcher. I'm the Northeast Regional Sales Manager. What are we going to talk about today?
Today, this will be the last of our three-part series of streams that we've been doing over winter 2024. Today, we're going to talk about tool holding. Kind of, to some degree, we're going to range from very basic stuff up to some of the more advanced. But this is all going to be the options that are available to you for holding tooling in your CNC Swiss-style machines. So first and foremost, the one we want to start with is just our general purpose collet holder line. We've got a whole series of products in this line that range from ER8 up to ER20 or so. So there's a whole range of different types of tools you can hold utilizing this product line. Nice thing about it is there's availability in all the common shank sizes that the big popular models of Swiss machines commonly utilize. So 3/4 inch, 1 inch, 22 millimeter, 25 millimeter. We stock a good volume of those sizes ready to go off the shelf. So you can't run a machine without having tool holders like this. And like I said, it's not a terribly exciting product, but there's a huge availability of it from our general catalog.
Yeah. Got single-ended, you have double-ended, you have coolant through. And what's nice is that we have a full program to support all of your plumbing needs. And what's nice is it's all right here in Westfield, Massachusetts.
So that's a good point, bringing it on there. We always talk about high-pressure coolant and what a game changer that was 20-something years ago for CNC Swiss-style machines. It's still very important today in all your tool holding and work holding and that sort of thing. So as a nice thing that we've got that's paired up. We've talked about this thing multiple times before in other videos. This is our coolant kit. One of the things that's always a real headache is running that high pressure oil to your tooling. This kit solves that problem. And this is compatible with the entirety of the coolant through collet system that we offer, the collet sleeve system. So some of these have M5 ports on them. Some of them have G1/8 parallel pipe threads. Some of them have NPTs. All that's included in this setup. So if you're looking at plumbing in a high-pressure coolant through drill and you're not sure how to get the coolant from your high-pressure pump to the tool, this is a nice solution for that. And that all pairs with pretty much the entirety of the product line that's available right out of the catalog.
What's really nice about having that kit available to you is that you've got it on hand. Everything you're going to need is in that kit for all your different connections, whether you're going to go a side port, you're going to go a rear port, whatever you're going to need, you're going to be able to have right there. And what's nice is you might find yourself with some interesting circumstances where your application is just slightly different. Again, we have a huge inventory of just about anything you could need plumbing-wise right here. It's in stock, ready to go. So if we can get the order by 3 o'clock in the afternoon, it can, one piece can leave here and you can get out of trouble the next day.
It's got an example up on the screen now how this adapts out. So we've got the kit includes a length of hose and all the different adapters, as you can see right here, that go into the different ports that are available on all the coolant through shanks that we offer. So this one here is an M5. I've got it adapted from that to the M6. That's on the end of the hose. And then we've got a quick release on the other end. So if this is something that you might be changing out on a regular basis, the connectivity is nice and simple, easy to plumb in.
And they also are available in various lengths of high-pressure hoses as well.
So depending on where you are on the machine, you want to make sure you're able to get the hose there. So there's a few different offerings in that regard as well. So really nice, kind of an all-inclusive product line at this point. And this is something that we produce here at GenSwiss. And if it's something that you need very specific type of a tool holder, maybe a special length or something like that, we're not outside to quoting that as well. We've got that capability and we'd be able to make something for you.
Can make specials where need to.
So I didn't want to spend a lot of time on those because it's a pretty basic product line. But like I said before, every single machine needs to have that kind of a tool holder in order to function. Sure. But one thing that we can spice these up a little bit with is a kind of a neat product I want to talk a little bit about. And I think we kind of neglect this product a little bit here at GenSwiss. We just kind of take it for granted and forget that we have it. But it's a really nice product that solves some of the problems. So I can hear some of you guys out there thinking, like, okay, yeah, they've got those mini nuts on there. I don't really enjoy working with that spanner in a machine that's full of oil and everything like that. That can be kind of a little bit of a headache. It's nice and low profile, which everybody knows those machines are really tight and there's not a lot of room to work in there. But you can slip with the spanner off of
I
this.
was
So
going to say, it's really easy to lose control of one of these things, and they're small, and they're black, and they disappear into God knows where in the bottom of the hole amongst the chips and the coolant and
Yep.
the debris, and depending upon where it bounces and where it ends up. So we've got an idea that might be very helpful for controlling the nuts on the end here.
Yep. So here's your standard nut. This is included with every one of our products.
Yep.
But as an option, and it's nice because we got these all kitted together. We bring it all into view here. You could buy a complete kit to retrofit existing holders, or we could deliver one of these, right out of the box with it if you need it. This is what we call our Easy R nut, and this replaces the holding nut. Here we go, get it in there so everybody can see it. This replaces the holding nut that's traditionally included on a Swiss-style tool holder. And
Rather interesting geometry on the end of that.
That's exactly what we're going to point out. So in this situation here, instead of using your traditional spanner, it comes with a kit of tools that interface and lock into the nut itself. So you can't slip. You can put you could use your fingertips because you got a knurled end on the tool, the clamping tool. There's a drive, 3/8 drive on the end
So you
for a
could
ratchet,
yeah.
or you could put a socket right over this hex or an open-ended wrench. There's all kinds of ways that you can use this for tightening in the machine. Plus, the wrench is through, so your drill bit that's going to be in there is not going to be getting hit. You're not going to damage or break it, or you're not going to slip and cut yourself. That's probably one of the main reasons for using a collet nut of this type. Get that where you can see. There we go. But the other nice thing about it is, so now you're working, you're changing a tool, you're going to be taking out a drill bit or changing the collet or something like that in there. The wrench, since it's interlocked with the nut, it stays affixed where you don't have to worry about it falling down on the sump now. Nobody wants to be fishing around in all those razor sharp chips and oil down at the bottom if they can help it. Here's another thing that's another tool in your arsenal, helps make it a little bit easier to work.
So you have the ability to be able to get, with that wrench attachment, you can actually get in amongst other tooling, which is a lot safer and a lot easier to be able to get in there. Prevents damage, prevents loss, prevents injuries, and also damage to other tools. And you have the option of either using this extension, or in those cases where you need to,
You got a spanner.
You got a spanner. You can go right in and lock on the top.
And the stubby nut as well. There's one that's in there. Same thing. You put a socket on the end, and you can drive the safety nuts. And the other nice thing I like to point out on these two, they do all have a knurled pattern on the leading edge as well. So if you want to use your fingertips, covered in oil, obviously in the machine, you could use your fingertips to tighten it down and get it most of the way there, and then put the locking tool onto it and tighten it up.
Gives you a ton of options and gives you great control. It's something you just don't want to lose down in the pit, I guess you'd call it.
Yep. And these are available for any standard ER holder. So it's as simple as figuring out what thread diameter and thread pitch is on the holder you want to retrofit. So like what we demoed right here, this is our M19x1 ER16 kit. And this will switch over live tools. They're balanced for live tools. So you can use them on anything that's rotary, or you can change it over on your traditional collet sleeve ID tools too.
Makes the job a little bit simpler, particularly if you're having the same challenge that most people are in the shops. You've got a definitive lack of expertise, maybe some inexperienced operators, and if you can give them a tool where they can gain some significant control in a tight environment, safer, because they're apt that the inexperienced guys are the first ones to get hurt.
They're going to slip.
First ones to slip and wreck the tooling. And if you can give them a tool that's going to give them better control and better safety, it's a great way to go.
I think it's better to have your guy running the machine than over at the urgent care.
That's for sure.
So these are a really good solution for that. We actually use them here at GenSwiss. All of our machines are equipped with these. And it's definitely a nice problem solver for that sort of thing.
Yeah, that's one of the nice things about having our facilities here. We walk the walk every day, so when you call in here and you ask for some technical assistance, you're going to be speaking to
Real
people.
world experience.
Yeah, we actually run 3 Swiss machines ourselves every day. We know your pain. We know exactly what you're up against because we use Swiss. Well, we use Swiss machines to make tooling for Swiss machines.
That kind of covers the foundational tool holding product. I want to move into something a little more specialty now. These are what I would consider machine specific tool holders, and we have a really complete line of that too for the major brands, for Citizen Star and Tsugami. We've got, these would be ones that are meant specifically for tool positions on the machine that have like a flange mount or a bolt pattern that needs to be aligned in order to install. Really simple stuff. A lot of your machines come delivered from the factory with this sort of tools, but when the original OEM tools are too worn out, or you break one, or you got to replace something, this is a really cost-effective solution. This one right here is our SAU 919 equivalent, similar to the one that comes with Citizen machines on the T30s on an L20, for example. But with everything that we do here at GenSwiss, we always try to add a little bit of value-adding type of feature to it. Okay. So the nice thing about ours is it's a very short flange, which gives you more Z2 stroke on the backside of the machine.
Won't cramp everything up.
Won't cramp everything up. You get a little bit more drill distance, so you can do some deeper drilling. And then if you're going to be doing deeper drilling, of course, again, going back to what we said about coolant already, you want to make sure you're able to deliver coolant. Let's see if we can get a zoom in on the inside of this tool holder here. This has got coolant channels. I don't know if the light's good enough. Let's see.
You're going to have to tilt it a little bit there.
Yeah, it looks just like a dark hole. But we got, you can see right here, we got a NPT, or a JIC fitting, I'm sorry, to an M5. And then down the inside of this, there's a coolant channel that delivers coolant to the back of the pocket. And then we've got the specialty mating collet holder specifically designed for it. So now this gives the user two options. You can either mount a 3/4 inch whatever into this, not use the coolant, but just have like a boring tool in there or something like that, and utilize it in that manner. Or you could pair it with the specific collet holder, which has the coolant delivery built into the back of it, and internally stopped with coolant delivery through the shank. And this is a very, very snug fit here. So pardon me, there we go.
Not a lot of wiggling in there.
Yep. But as simple as that. Lock it down with this screw, run your oil to it. And again, we're going to go back to what we were talking about before. This kit is designed to work with everything that we offer to make it nice and simple. But there we are again. We got a little bit of a pigtail length with a quick change and a 90-degree on it, all completely customizable to whatever your needs are in the machine and what position you're running from. So
very complete line for the Citizen, and also a wonderful program with Star. As well. And we got 4 different sizes, very compatible with your back block on the Stars.
This is one of the iconic, I'll say iconic, because it's a holder that's on a lot of Star machines on the backside, sub-spindle facing. It's got this flange, so if there's any Star folks out there watching right now, you'll probably immediately recognize that bolt pattern right there. I've got a lot of machines that have that in it. We have a full line of these as well. This one's our standard ER16 non-coolant through, but we have them in stock at a very cost-effective price with coolant through capability, and we have one that even increases to an ER20. So it gives you a little bit more tool diameter capability on the backside of the machine as well. And this is a particular product here where it's extremely popular. We try to keep at least a couple of them in stock at all times. So this is something that you could look up under the SR20 category, for instance, on the website. Yep.
Nice having.
And then we have these for Sagami, and unfortunately, I don't have one that I can show available as a sample right now. But we do have them for the B032, the S206. You know, a lot of the really popular machines that are out there. We have it available for those as well, and they're available in a solid bore style, similar to the other one that we were showing before. Or we have the ER with integrated ER taper with coolant capability. Again, at a very nice price point.
Very competitive.
With a very good quality. Up against some of the OEM stuff.
Very, very competitive against the OEM pricing.
Yep.
So, great.
So the next thing I want to move on to, again, this is another one of those ones where it's kind of like it's a really simple product.
Sure is.
It's one of those things where people are spending a lot of time on their shop floor making this kind of product, and the thing I like to say is you're not getting paid for that. You know, you're spending all your time making that. This is a really simple drill bushing with coolant through capability. We came out with this product line a few years ago with the idea that people were looking for a nice, repeatable solution for a very dedicated setup. Maybe they were using like an 1/8 inch shank, coolant through drill, or maybe a gun drill or something like that. And they're looking for a nice, easy way of holding it that was not an ER. And a lot of folks just make bushings like this on their own. But we're inventorying solid blanks with a pilot hole in them. that we can turn around and make it to whatever ID size you want to fit whatever it is you're working with. And the thing with this product that kind of surprised me, we originally introduced it for doing smaller diameter drills.
Yeah.
And actually really where it seems to shine is a lot of users are incorporating that where they have to work with a larger diameter shank where
Exactly.
you'd have to get into an ER25 holder at that point and be able to plumb coolant through it. And when you start talking about a holder like that, the collet nut that holds it is around this big, and you're immediately causing interference problems in your machine. You don't have enough room to put that tool adjacent to other tools in the machine, so it becomes a real headache. But there's no reason why you can't run a drill like that in a Swiss machine if you have the need and the application is right for it. So where this thing really started to shine was for holding bigger drills in like a 32 millimeter machine where
Drills that are just not
just over the cusp of what the collet size is available for any of the tool holding that you've had maybe in your tool crib already, or what's available for most of the common suppliers. You start to fall into that black hole. I like to call it that.
Yeah.
Kind of the tooling black hole where you got to do this. You know you can do it, but the tooling that's needed to make it happen just doesn't exist commonly, and that's where you kind of have to fill in the gap as a machinist and make your own thing, but you want to get paid for what you're doing.
as opposed to spending time making tooling that you can literally buy
right off the shelf, and that's where this thing comes in. So it's OD ground. The ID is precision machined out, and then we've got a British parallel pipe, or what we call a G1/8 on the back that we have common fittings for. And again, the Superstar kit here, it's got a fitting that's in that kit that'll fit this as well.
Yeah, great.
So-
When we first introduced these, it was really interesting because I was so proud to be able to show the complete length or extended variety that are readily available off the shelf. And of course, the very first time I discussed this program with someone, they said, yeah, but I would like that, but I need that with a 10 millimeter ID. That's not a problem. 8 millimeter.
I think we went up to 8 originally as standards,
Yeah, so-
and everybody's like, I want to do a 14. I want to do a 15.
So all of a sudden we found ourselves, okay, well, we're going to take the same basic tool, but if you need something, we can sometimes modify the items that we have right on the shelf. The other option is, okay, if you need a dramatically different series of specs, we can make them longer. We can make them shorter. We can make them with different IDs. So we have the ability to be able to go off menu and make these for you very quickly and with the same basic tolerances and quality so that you can go about making your Swiss machines work very effectively with larger diameter tools, and you can make parts that you can get paid for rather than paying, So don't go out reinventing the wheel when what you need is either on the shelf or can be quickly modified and delivered to you. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's simple, but
Really
boy,
simple, but
yeah,
such a good
headache.
It's a headache. It's a big headache solver. Yeah, exactly. Yep. So that's readily available. We've got those ready to go, either blanked out or on the shelf with the bore sizes for a lot of common cooling through
Works
drills.
extremely well with our new Cool Carb line of
does.
anti-vibration.
Yes, that's a good fit for it.
Bore bits. Yep.
The indexable micro boring. I think we talked about that in a previous video. You can go back to the channel and check that one out.
We did.
Yep. So this brings us to the highest tech product that we wanted to talk about today. And this is one that's really exciting, and I think a lot of folks don't even realize that it's something that's available at their disposal. This is our line of GenSwiss hydraulic chucks. We'll bring some of these out here into view. So these, we're talking everything else we're talking about already, utilizes the tried and true spring collets or ER system that's commonly available and is like the industry standard product for holding round tools. This completely eliminates that. This entire product line uses hydraulic force. Let's see if we can bring this in where we can see everybody. Here we go. This uses hydraulic clamping force to draw down on the shank of the tool that you're trying to hold. And the benefit to this is it's more clamping pressure than a ER collet. And another thing is, everybody knows when you tighten and clamp an ER collet, sometimes you get a little bit of pullback on the tool where it'll pull it into the taper a little bit, and that changes the positioning of the drill, and that makes it a real headache when you're changing out worn tooling. So to eliminate that, the hydraulic system works very, very well because it doesn't do any kind of pulling back into the bore. It just simply draws the bore down a few thousandths of an inch around the tool shank. The other nice thing about it is it works kind of like the drill bushing we had already showed, where you can utilize bigger shank sizes in Swiss machines that you maybe couldn't use previously, but it's also hyper repeatable and accurate for micro tools.
One of the things about this is when we first started introducing these, everybody said, oh, accuracy, it's to 40 millionths, and this is great. And that's obviously fantastic for your micro drills and your really tight tolerance work. Where we really missed the boat was the ease in which you can change a tool. This particular hydraulic holder is set up to be working on your main drive or your front front working position in that. Now you've got the back. So we're out working out here. Please note, I am now in the back of the block, and on the back of the tool, you have a coolant channel, you have a safety valve, and you have the ram. What I'll do is, please note where the torque wrench is. I am now in the back. I am not in the front. I am not turning a wrench in amongst expensive tooling. I'm not turning a wrench where I have the possibility of either damaging tooling or if I have the ability to get cut and get hurt. What's beautiful about this now, I have merely pulled the ram out. By pulling the ram out, what I've done is it's allowed all that hydraulics to release on the internal, and we're going to actually in a little bit show you a diagram of what's going on the inside of this. I merely, after pulling the ram out, I will remove this tool. This tool works exceptionally well if you use H6 tolerance tools or better. I merely take the tool out, slide it back in. There's a positive carbide rod in the inside that it interfaces with. Very repeatable. I now, again, note where I'm working. I come back here, I drive the ram into the hydraulic fluid, and what it's doing is it's driving those jaws to the center point. I'm literally driving that tool to the dead middle of this hold. So what I tell everybody when I'm selling this system is if you're going to use all 3 millimeter shank tools, buy the ID to 3. 4, 1/8, 1/8. Or if you want flexibility in your holder, what you can do is you can get an 8 millimeter ID and then buy a series of sleeves based on what you're going to want to run on the inside. So in this particular case, I'll remove the drill.
Yeah, what do we got there, an 1/8 inch drill bit?
There we go. And now I can just take the specific flange that's going to go in, or sleeve that will go in to accommodate a 1/8.
Yep.
But I could change that to a multitude of different sizes. I pop those in. I'm ready to go. I come back in here. And once again, I can't say this enough. We sold these initially to people who wanted accuracy. But if you want to save knuckles and you want to save tooling, this is just a fantastic program for doing just that. Also, I'm driving with a torque limiter. At 3 Newton-pounds, this is going to start clicking. So what you've once again, for an inexperienced operator changing a tool, the wrench is not going to let him screw it up.
Yep. Why don't you hand me that one there, Bill? You can do a quick demo with that one. This one's pretty effective at showing how it works. So the other nice thing about these is there's multiple setups. So the one you showed already has the hydraulic actuator in the back.
Yep.
This one does too, and some of these have them in the front. So depending on the tool position you're going to work in, you've got the ability to orient this thing put it so it's facing the operator. This one here is a really good demo for the torque capability. So this is loosened right now. So the same setup here. We've got this with a compression sleeve and an 8 millimeter shank. This is just a simple spot drill. Really sharp, sharp, solid carbide spot drill, and in one of the rear actuated holders. So again, this would go into like one of your dog leg tool positions where you might be working from the backside of the block with the guide bushing over here. And you can orient this. There's flats all around that will line up with the locking screws on the machine's tool position. And you can orient it so that the hydraulic ram or the actuator is facing your operator. So that way, to change tools, they just would simply put in the torque key and they would turn it. Can't over tighten it. So that's as far as it goes. That's the preset torque setting that puts the appropriate amount of pressure on the tool shank, and make sure that every single time somebody changes a tool, the exact same settings are used. So everybody knows who's used ER collets, you change how much torque you put on that collet nut, it could result in eccentricity or a little bit of run out or pullback, and you don't have to deal with any of that headache that you would normally deal with one of these. This gives you a whole lot better repeatability, whole lot better accuracy, and very nice concentricity. So that being said, when talking about concentricity, we'll go one step further. So this one here is a traditional one with a flat on it, which is very similar to your ER holders with a flat on it. But we've also got an option, like this one here. There's no flats on this one.
Okay.
And the way that this one works is the shank also swells and the bore collapses. So now you've got extreme concentricity between the tool bore that you're installing this into and the tool shank.
So in the single adjustment, essentially what's happening is this is expanding, fitting, tightening into its location,
Yep.
and then in the ID section, that's closing in on the tool, and that's holding the tool. So it's kind of like expanding any space that's available and just gripping everything down.
Yep. So it gives you perfect alignment between the tool and the tool position that you're going to be putting it into. And I found that particularly useful with some folks that are doing a whole lot of small diameter versus long length of cut drills, where the diameter times length is just out there. This is a really good solution for something like that, where you want to make sure that way out at the cutting tip of the drill, that it's going to still be on center of your workpiece. And you could still get away with coolant through on these because there's a really nice innovative stop that threads into the back. So this whole piece right here can actually flex, kind of like a Coke can, I guess is the way to think about it.
Right.
But then you've got this threaded piece with your coolant fittings on the back here. Again, compatible with the Superstar kit over here. So we've got all kinds of adapters that fit right into that thing. And then that threads onto the back of your holder with an O-ring seal to keep the high-pressure oil going through where it should go. But this separates the fitting from the action area, I guess we could say, of the OD of this shank. That gives you the ability to still run the coolant through and use this thing without any of the locking screws that's in your tool position that you want to use it from. And these are great for Swiss machines. I've had success with these in turret lathes as well, some of the bigger equipment.
Some non-Swiss applications as well.
Non-Swiss, like this one right here is a really good example of that. This is another one where this is significantly larger. This is like a 25 millimeter bore on this one for really big stuff. And this is a good one for like a lathe or something like that.
When I've demonstrated this unit for working the front, somebody says, well, that's great, but do you have something that might work in the back? And the challenge with working on the back block is there is no access to the back. You've got a solid block and you can't get in the rear, so that there's no place to be able to put your set screw in that. So what they did was, in that particular case, there's a large flange on the front, and what they did was that they put the ram on the top and your coolant hookups are in the front on the flange. So now this goes into your block, gets locked down. Once again, the beauty of it is, look where I'm working. I'm working up top here. I'm not working out here. I'm not cutting my hands. I'm not breaking tools. I'm working up top. So somebody was very clever when they designed this, because you're getting all the advantages of all your hydraulic holders, and yet you have all the safety aspects.
And that one conforms to the machine tool position that you're going to put it in. So this one here is a good example of, I believe this one's for like a Citizen L32, but it's on the same concept as these Star ones. And we have them for the Star as well, for the sub spindle, as well as Tsugami, with the pattern that fits the tool position. So this is a nice solution for doing hydraulic chucking on the back side of the machine with the ability to still deliver coolant. So, yep. I think that covers the entirety of the product line we brought out today.
Yep. And if you have any questions or you need any technical assistance about your specific applications, please pick up the phone, call our office, ask for tech support. Feel free to send us blueprints, drawings, and discuss in detail what you're trying to achieve. We have just about everything under the sun in this building to help you out with any of your applications.
Yep. If you're having any kind of, you're getting stuck and you just can't find what it is you want, tell us what you're trying to accomplish, and something here will probably solve your issue, and we'll get on it right away for you.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
So looking forward to hearing from you.
Thanks, Bill.
Okay, thanks a lot. Keep the coolant flowing and the chips rolling. Thank you very much.